Hello and welcome to this episode of the Mixtape podcast. This is where we take a deep dive into the inspirations and influences of my guest as I ask them to select 6 tracks for their imaginary mixtape. Track 1 is an attention grabber. Track 2 is a song they sing in the car or the shower. Track 3 is a cover version. For track 4, I'll ask them to pick a song they wish they could have played to their 18-year-old selves. Track 5 is a song they would use to woo someone. Track 6 is a track that my guest feels doesn't get the attention or recognition that it deserves. If you'd like to support the creation of this podcast, it's patreon.com/mixtape podcast, or you can check out the link in the description below. You can join for free or subscribe for as little as $2 a month. There's lots of other Patreon-only content on there, including the opportunity to ask guests a question and to have a personalised mixtape playlist curated by yours truly. There's lots of other ways you can support me, a like or a follow on social media. Again, there's links in the description for that. Or if you are listening on Spotify, you can smash the follow icon or you can rate the podcast. All of these little things go a long way towards growing the platform, and I really, really appreciate it. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello and welcome to this mixtape for KCR 102.5 and the mixtapepodcast.com. Joining me today, what an absolute pleasure it is for episode 100 to be talking to my big brother from another mother, Tommy Lee. Not that one. Tommy, how are you, mate?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, pretty damn good, to be honest.
Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
It's an honour.
Oh, mate, yeah, it's so good. It's so good to have you on, buddy. So we should probably give people like a bit of context, Tommy, about like why you're my guest. I do talk about it a lot on a lot of episodes, especially recent ones. Tell you what we'll do, right? I don't know what your recollection is because it's 35 years ago, right? So time and age and recollection probably changes a bit. I don't know, your recollection of us first meeting is probably different to mine. I don't know, but I'll tell it and then you tell it how you remember, and that'll probably be a good way of introducing like how we first met. So I was a snotty-nosed, horrible little apprentice in the late 80s, early 90s, and I was fortunate enough to be allocated to Tommy as my sort of mentor come fitter for, I think we ended up for about 18 months, didn't we, Tommy? Because no one else wanted me. So you stuck your hand up. That's true though, isn't it? It's funny because it's true. You stuck your hand up to have me a bit longer. And so we were working together like that. But the first day we met, I remember, this is how I remember it anyway, Loose Bolt walked me out into the workshop, Loose Bolt being our illustrious leader in that particular workshop. And he said, there you go, Mark, this is Tommy. He's going to be your fitter for the next, I think he said 6 months at the time. Off you go, see you later. And then you looked at me and you went, what sort of music you like? No, and didn't say hello or nothing. What sort of music you like? And because I was like 16 and I Billy Big Bollocks, I was like, Milli Vanilli, Bobby Brown. And you went, don't worry, we'll look after you. And that was that, right? And then we'd done that work or whatever. And then the next day, you brought me in a tape. And you went, listen to that. And that tape is the reason why the mixtape's called the Mixtape, because it set me off on a journey of musical discovery that will carry on till the day I die. It's one of the most, I would say, pivotal moments of my life, you giving me that tape. And yeah, and I'll always be forever grateful. And 35 years later, here we are, still mates, still swapping music recommendations. And it's a beautiful thing. And so that's why when I got to episode 100 of the podcast, I first of all thought I would be the guest for episode 100. And then I thought, no, it ain't about me. None of it's never about me. The radio show's not about me. It's always about the music. And so I thought it'd be good if I could ask you to be a guest on episode 100. And then for episode 101, I'm going to interview Simon London, who was my demo mixtape guest for episode 0 of the mixtape. So a bit of a full circle thing there. So how do you remember it, Tom, that day when we first met and that tape?
To be honest, I hadn't been with Cargill long, and you was away at college when I started. And then there was a buzz around the workshop, like Mark's coming back. And it was like,
oh no, who's going to get
it was odd. There was a buzz around the workshop, like Mark's coming back. And I'm thinking, this bloke must be some sort of god. They're all talking about him.
That soon went downhill, didn't it?
Yeah, then you turned up. But yeah, Lou's fault. He asked, would I mind having an apprentice? And I'd never had an apprentice before.
No, only about 4 years out your time, weren't you, yourself?
Yeah, I was in my 20s. And I went, yeah, all right, I'll give it a go. Introduced me to you. And then it's exactly what you said. It was like, yeah, all right, what kind of music do you like? And it was like, yeah, I remember it as, oh, don't worry, we'll sort that out. Something like that. But yeah, then we did our first day, brought the tape in. And then from then, it grew. There's days, I can't remember if you were with us. It was me and Dick Hankin. But the first time we heard Walter Trout, and I know you've had Walter on the show and all of that, but the first time we heard Walter Trout, and I think it was False Alarm, and it was on Radio 2, and me and Dick just looked at each other, and it was like, what's this doing on Radio 2? It was like, yeah, we got to get into this fella. But it was always like that with you. If I heard something new, then it was, Mark, you've got to listen to this, or you'd come to me, you've got to listen to this. And that, you know what it's been like over the years. We've been apart either up and down the country or across continents. But every time we meet up, it's like we've never been apart. And I don't know if you want this in here or what, but we used to have this thing where you'd ring me up because it was before we had social media and all of that. But you'd ring me up and go, I've got tickets to so-and-so. I've bought the tickets, so you're driving, or the other way around. And we'd just go off and see new people. And I say new people, we saw Jeff Healey about 1 million times and Paul Rogers.
Yeah, funny you mention it, Tommy, because one of the reasons I was a bit late, don't know if you'll be able to see this, I can barely read it, and I've got my readers on, and the camera don't pick it up very well, and there's light on there. I don't know if can you see that?
Paul Rogers
Company.
Yeah.
That's the ticket, that gig. And I don't know if you remember, so the gig was the 1st of November, 1993. So 31 years ago, just over. But do you remember it got canned? We were standing outside the venue for about 2 hours, freezing our tits off, and they had a power cut, and we had to come back. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And I was going to New Zealand in, I don't know, February or something. And it was like, shit, if this don't get rescheduled in time, I'm not going to get to go to this gig. But yeah, that you took me to my first gig, but this is the one.
Gotta be Shanks.
This is the one that I always keep and love and treasure the most. Armitage Shanks at the Tilbury Community Hall. It doesn't have a date on it. 92. £2 for adults, £1 for children, no APs. It was a fundraiser that the company put on, and you and Hank and Steve Full Divers and was it Shirley's brother? But yeah, so Armitage Shanks, and then the second night you were joined by the U-Bends on horns.
Yeah,
which was brilliant. That was like one of the first times, like, because I knew you and Hank obviously really well, and to see you's up there like singing and that. But I've never buzzed off a gig ever as much. I've seen Pink Floyd, I've seen Dylan, I've seen Clapton, I've seen Oasis. I never had a buzz like I had a buzz off that gig when I seen you. Like, because I knew you, do you know what I mean? And it was so good. Yeah. And it was yacht rock and roll classics or whatever. It was so good. I remember having my mind just blown. And I went the first night, and then I was asking Shirley for tickets for the second night because I wanted to go again. And then I think, if I remember rightly, I stood on a chair at the side on the second night with your camcorder and I filmed it. Do you remember that? Have you still got that?
Oh, I think I've digitized it somewhere. If I hadn't, I'll send it over to you.
That'd be great. I'd love to see that. I would absolutely love to see that. Extended intro on Run to You.
Because somebody forgot the words.
Yeah, so that's how we first met. And like you say, a friend of mine once that I knew way back said to me once, there's no friends like old friends. And that's so true. We could sit down in a pub and have a yarn, and it's 35 years, hasn't passed at all. Do you know what I mean?
It's another day in the relationship, the friendship. It's not, There's no time. Like this now, it's not, we haven't been apart.
I literally haven't seen you. I haven't seen your beautiful face since May 2010 when I came to live in Australia. And we went out for dinner at the Old Orleans. Do you remember? And we went with Hank, and I think Kirsty was there as well, and Paul. There were 6 of us. That's the last time I actually saw you. All right, Tommy. So what we've done, obviously there's been a lot of discussion over the tracks over the last couple of months. And what I've done, and I'm extending the same courtesy to you, Tommy, is there's not a fucking hope in hell I'm going to ever narrow it down to one song. It's just not happening, right? I just can't do it. And I had an interview this week with a couple of lads, and they were like, "Oh, it's really hard to narrow it down to one track." And I was like, and normally, I said to them, normally I sit there and go, "I'll just pick them. Like, how hard can it be?" But I said, now I've had to do it, and now I know how hard it is. There's no way I'm ever going to get it down to one. So I'll give myself two, a pick and an honourable mention. And when we get to track 5, I've gone 3 just because I wanted to. I've got 3 tracks for track 5, and you've got the same, Tommy, right? Is that right?
I've actually got 4, but I've narrowed it to 3 for 5.
All right, okay. All right, cool.
You're listening to the Mixtape.
Track 1, attention grabber. What would be your track 1 attention grabber, mate?
Bearing in mind, you and I saw this fella quite a few times, and we took Sandra as well, and she was amazed. She was always amazed at how Jeff Healey could run around a stage when he was sightless. And this one, the first time I heard this, the new album had just come out, and I was straight on to you about it. You've got to listen. And it's Feel This, Jeff Healey Band. And it's just a banging track. It's a banging opener for anything. This and my honourable, if I was still in a band, these would be, if I was playing covers, these would be my openers, alternating all the time. But yeah, my all-time, and one of my all-time favourites has got to be Feel This, Jeff Healey Band, definitely.
I remember you putting it on in the car in your old Nissan. It might have been on the way to the Paul Rodgers gig we talked about earlier, and hearing it, and that was on my short list of 4 or 5 to pick as well. Is blues rap a genre? And was that blues rap, do you think, that track?
To me, it's rock rap, which is a genre, isn't it? But
yeah.
I just, when I heard that, especially with the rap in it, it's like, how's he got away with it?
I know, yeah. Great choice, mate. Great choice.
And my honourable mention, I don't know how known this fella is in Oz. I managed to see him the other year with my daughter Christy in a little old converted cinema that's now a concert hall in a village whose name escapes me in Yorkshire. But the fella's called Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and the song is Never Looking Back, and it's the first song I heard by him. Can't remember what radio show or what it was. Might have even been one of them where Spotify chucks up something at you. But it's another banger. It opens with it's just raw guitar opening, and I love it. He's good live. He's cracking live. Him and another fella share the vocals, but he's the main guitarist. And yeah, they're worth a listen, mate. Give them a listen. They do speaking of looking back, they do a really good cover version of Dr. Feelgood's Looking Back, which is that I was looking back to see if she was looking back to see if I was looking at her. They do a really good cover version of that, but it's not one of my covers.
I've heard of Kenny Wayne Shepherd, definitely. So he must be well known in Australia. But in my mind, I don't know why. I don't know if it's just his name or whatever, but in my head, I had him as a country artist, but obviously not. He's blues. But yeah, I had definitely heard of him. But yeah, for sure. Great choice, mate. 2 absolute bangers for your mixtape. Kick off, track 1s. All right, track 2, Tommy.
This is probably, he probably is my all-time musical hero. It's a fella that everybody's heard his songs, but nobody's heard of him. A fella called Mickey Jupp. He turned his back on the fame and fortune thing. He doesn't like the publicity. He doesn't like the travelling, but he's written so many hits for so many people. He now lives in the Lake District in a little village called Boot. And if you walk into the Boot pub, every now and then there might be an old fella sat in the corner having a drink. And that'll be the governor, Mickey Jupp.
Yeah.
I was very privileged to see him the other year. We went up to the lakes, and it's, as far as I know, it's the last one he's done at the moment. And it's a few years ago. And it was at the Woolpack, which is in the next village along.
For anyone outside of England, Tommy, explain to people the significance of the Woolpack pub.
As in the name of the Woolpack pub?
Yeah.
What, soaps?
Yeah, is it the actual...
No, the Woolpack, it's it's part of a walking route. So, funny enough, one of the lads from the village, he goes walking in the lakes, and it's one of his stopping points. They always stop off in the Woolpack, have a pizza, have a pint, but they do live music.
The Wolfpack don't serve pizzas; they serve steak and kidney pies.
Oh no, they do that as well, but they do pizzas. They're nice pizzas. I don't think I mentioned the name of the. Did I say it's "Learning to Swim" by Mickey Jupp? Yes, the song.
Oh yeah.
And again, for me, it's just, believe it or not, it's not a big jolly song. It's all about drowning your sorrows. But yeah, I love Mickey Jupp, and for me, it's a current one for singing away. Now, my honourable mention, not like me, but I mentioned that my daughters are my influences for music quite a lot, and it's "Runaway Baby" by Bruno Mars. And I just love the bass line in it. I love, like, when he does it live, the way he does it with the band and all of that. And it makes me want to sing along. Then my daughters have got me into some, not weird stuff, but some different stuff that, again, it's like when we going back to playing for your 18-year-old self and stuff like that. It's the kids have influenced me so much, and I would have never thought when I was younger. And you know me, when I was younger, it's got to be rock music and it's got to be blues music, and there's nothing else. Everything else is shit.
Oh, fine.
Now I spread out so much across stuff, and the kids will text me and say, "You got to listen to this." And Christy did it the other day. She said, "Listen to this new Bruno Mars one." But that's when I thought, "Oh, Runaway Baby." But that one didn't do it for me. And it's weird.
Yeah. I was in that zone of if it's not blues and it was recorded after 1980, I'm not interested. And then I was sitting in Greystown Centre McDonald's circa 1995, and they played The Bends by Radiohead over the speakers, and that was a life-changing moment. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, the modern music is all right. Yeah. Let's go back to Mickey Jupp. That is an amazing lyric. I'm trying to drown my sorrows and they're learning to swim.
Yeah. And he's got so many good albums as well. My favourite album is probably Some People Can't Dance. And he does a song on there. He does one called Jogging that's about jogging, but the negative side of it. And he does one called Superman. And it's so tongue-in-cheek and it's brilliant. And that was nearly on here, but you can't get it on Spotify. I've got the CD and all of that, but you can't get it on Spotify. But yeah, he's the one everybody will know if they know anything about, well, Southend and the Estuary music scene. They'll know Dr. Feelgood, and they'll know a song called Down at the Doctor's. That is a Mickey Jupp song. And if you look up Down at the Doctor's by Mickey Jupp on Spotify, it's a proper bluesy song. In fact, I did it. They have an open mic night at the pub, which is about a 10-minute walk that way. It's weird. It's about an half an hour walk back. But I did it in their open night, and it was a winger as well. It was like, I sent them a recording of it, and I said, "Do you reckon we could do that Sunday?" Yeah, we'll give it a go. And I got there. They said, "We've had a couple of goes of it. We'll just wing it." So it was a nice one to do.
Track 3, Tommy. What's your favourite cover version, mate?
Another, again, not for me, or shock in my tastes. It's Freak Like Me by the Sugababes. And when I was younger, we didn't have mashups and crossovers like they do now. And there's so many good mashups.
That's what I was going to say to you, mate. Is this a sample, or is it a cover, or is it a mashup? Like, it's a real grey area, isn't it? Like, I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So it samples Our Friends Electric, but it's a song by Adina Howard. And the original is so different. So again, it goes back to what we said. It's a completely different take. But when it came out, I'm like, that's Our Friends Electric. That's Gary Newman. But then they did it. Like they put this to it. And it's so different from the original. And the original's worth a listen. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, that did it for me. And growing up, the kids, as we used to live in Basildon, just up the road from you, but we used to take the kids to gigs in London. And as they got older, they didn't want us with them cramping their style. They wanted to go to the gigs on their own. So we'd drop them off, and Sandra and I'd go for a meal somewhere and all that and come back. But we took them to see the Sugababes, dropped them off, and we'd finished our meal. I said, "Come on, we'll go back to the Army and we'll wait for them outside." And I got parked up and I walked round the front and, well, Sandra needed to visit the ladies' room. So I had a word with the geezer on the door and I just asked, could she go in and use the loo? We're waiting for our kids, they're in the gig and all that. And he went, yeah, knock yourself out, get in there. And he said, actually, there's only about 20 minutes to go. He said, if you want, you can go in and stand at the back. So we went in and saw the last 20 minutes of the Sugababes, and they did that. They did Caught Up in the Middle, and I was knocked out. Considering they were a modern pop vocal thing, to me, I was blown away by them. I thought they were brilliant. But yeah, you can edit that out, can't you?
I used to be, one of the ways I feel like I've matured as an adult over the last sort of 10 years is like when that came out, I know I would have been like, what is this? What is this? How dare they? Do you know what I mean? Offen's Electric, that's a classic. How dare you? But as I've got older and matured, I can look at that now and I can listen to that and appreciate that it's decent. Do you know what I mean? It really is. It's a good version. Like you say, is it a cover? Is it a mashup? Is it a sample? It's all of the above. The reason that there was a negativity from me towards Sugababes is because they did a live lounge of Living for the Weekend by Hard Fight, which was really poor. But that is a really good version, the one you picked. And I think they're back together now. The original lineup are touring again, I think.
We had tickets to go see them in York. They were going to play outside what is it? I think it's York Museum. I think it's York Museum, but there's old historic gardens outside it, and they were going to do a gig then. It got cancelled. It was actually on my birthday this year in July, and the kids had got the tickets, and we were all going to go. But yeah, it's been the story of this year, I'll be honest. We also had tickets to see Gildy in Newcastle, and they pulled the whole British tour. Yeah.
We'll get to them a bit later on. And what's your honourable mention? Oh, we've done the honourable mention, didn't we?
No, this has always been, so it's White Shade of Pale, Hagar Schoen, Aronson and Shreve, and Neil Schoen from Journey does the guitar on that. And it blew me away the first time I ever heard it. The rest of the album, I can't even remember the name of the album. The rest of that album is pretty pants, but that one cover version is brilliant. But yeah, give it a look. It's a proper, for me, if you're going to do a cover version, do it different, and they did it different.
I very clearly remember you being almost evangelical about the White Shade of Pale version that you preferred, and it being Sammy Hagar's version as opposed to Procol Harum. That as soon as I read that, I remembered that. I was like, oh yeah, I remember he was mad for that version back in the day. Yeah, yeah. It's funny how you forget things like that, and then you read something and you just go, oh yeah, I remember he was mad for that version. Track 4, Tommy. What's a song you wish you could play to your 18-year-old self, mate?
Now this one, I went round and round with loads, and I've picked 2. But the first one is Fireball by Pitbull. It could be any Pitbull song, if I'm honest, but Fireball does it. And there is a little bit of a story for it as well. Firstly, February next year, we're going to see him, me and Christy. He doesn't blow Nikki's frock up, so she's not coming, and Sandra up till she's right enough yet to go. Yeah. So me and Christy are going. I've always felt that when I grow up, I want to be Pitbull. And every now and then, I shave the beard out and the head goes, and I won't say I rock the look, but I try the look. For the gig, I am going to do it. I'm going to wear the suit. I'm going to wear the aviators, and I'm going to the gig as Pitbull.
Please send me a photo of that.
Oh, I will. But that as well, the kids have got my funeral sorted out. Let's get to the reason first. The reason I would play Fireball to my 18-year-old self is what we were saying earlier about being tunnel visioned about our music. And when I was younger, if it wasn't rock, it was shit. And Pitbull, he gets slated because he's a rapper and he's fun and it's pop at the end of the day. And for me, he's what music's about. He does it and he brings a smile to your face when he does stuff. It's all about sexual conquests and all sorts of things, but I don't know why I like him, but I'd love to go back to me and go, this is what music can be like when it's not rock music, and it can be fun. And believe me or don't believe me, you're going to love him. I have him on in the car all the time. I just think he's brilliant.
Do you think we took music too seriously when we were younger, Tommy? Like we were too serious about it?
Yeah, especially because I played in a band as well. I thought it was like, you've got to do it properly. I remember Stevie Ford Divers saying to me once when we went out and we hadn't quite, or I hadn't quite got the lyrics to a song right in my head. I couldn't remember them. So I had them on the floor in front of me. And Steve looked at me and went, it's a bit unprofessional, isn't it?
But farting in the microphone, that's unprofessional as well, mate.
No, I don't know who'd do that. I really don't. I'm Dave Van Mentel's that.
Shout out, Dave, if you're listening, mate. That's a private joke that absolutely no one listening to this podcast is going to get apart from me and you.
No, exactly. So Fireball as well. My funeral, the kids have decided that I'm going to be cremated. The song that will play as I go through the curtains is Fireball by Pitbull. Better than that, people always put a photo on the top of the coffee. It's going to be Pitbull.
Brilliant. Love that. Superb. So my two funeral songs coming in, somber, Impossible Dream by Andy Williams, of course. As the curtains close, and I'm going through Highway to Hell by AC/DC, because that's where I'm going.
Yeah. Brilliant.
So what I'm starting to do, Tommy, is, because it's been 2 years since I started the podcast, so I'm starting to get guests come back around, do you know what I mean, on touring cycles again. So I've started the Mixtape 2.0 for those guests that come along. We've already done the Mixtape the first time around. So I'm developing that. I've got about 4 tracks at the moment. And the track 6 for the Mixtape 2.0 is what's the song you want to play at your funeral. I don't know if it's ending the Mixtape interview on a down note or whatever, but I'm gonna keep it in anyway. So yeah, that's what I'm heading for, because I'm getting to that point now where I'm getting offered guests who've already been on once. The Mixtape 2.0 is going to be making several appearances throughout 2025 for sure. All right, Tommy, honourable mention, fire away, mate. I was not expecting this. No, I wasn't. No.
Wow. So Hysteria Muse, I think it was 2010. It was years ago, and we sat ourselves down, me, Sandra and the kids, to watch the Brit Awards. And I hadn't even heard of Muse. And they came on and did Hysteria live. And it blew me away. Like the bass behind it and everything, his gob, the way they did that song. And even when it came to doing the solo in the middle, and he's doing this weird shuffle across the stage. And I'm thinking, I've not seen people do stupid stuff like that since Status Quo did Formation Dancing on them. But they blew me away. So, yeah, play that to myself when I'm 18 and say, that's another way rock can go if you want to look at it.
He's like fucking alien, Matt Bellamy. He's so out there. I saw them on the second album tour at Brixton Academy with my brothers, and one of the best live shows I've ever seen. Like, they were so good, and I'm staggered that this will be episode 100 of the podcast. No one has yet chosen "Feeling Good" by Muse for a track 3 cover version, because it is a phenomenal cover version. It's right up there, and they did it live when I saw them at Brixton Academy, and I saw them at V Festival as well a few years later on that tour. I think on that album tour. Amazing live band. They're one of them bands that they're better live than on the record. Do you know what I mean? They're so good. Yeah, fantastic choice, Tommy. And I really, honestly, I was not expecting that. Was right out of left field for you, mate. I wasn't expecting a Muse track in any way, shape, or form. All right, this is the one I've been waiting for. This is the one I've been waiting for. So, what I do, unbeknownst to any guests or listeners, I play a little game with myself when I book guests on the show, and I try and think about what songs they might pick. Sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't. But when I knew that I was going to ask Tommy on for episode 100, and one of the songs was, what is a song that you would play to let the listener know you're romantically interested, I would bet my life that you would pick the song that you picked to your track 5. So fire away, mate.
Okay, can I do my honourable mentions first then? Because
Yeah, go on, mate. Yeah, whatever you want to do it, mate. Yeah.
the reason I want to do them first is because that lady over there has been with me for 36, 37 years now. And over those 30 odd years, I've got her just how she wants me. And I think I might still be working on the just how she wants me, actually. So they're more our songs than Woo songs.
Yeah.
Faithfully has always been the one. Journey Faithfully, it's always been the one. Especially being in bands and doing all of that. It's about a bloke on the road, but still being faithful and all. So that would be number one, our song, as it were. Breathe Easy by Blue is another one. Same sort of thing. That's if we're ever out at a party or anything, that's a slow dance, because that's one that we can just hold on to each other and you don't lift the nose. And then when I've not let her down, but when I've not been who I should be for her, it's A Man I'll Never Be by Boston. Because it's just, firstly, it's always been one of my favourite songs. Saw them way back in the 1980s at Bingley Hall in Stafford, and they were an amazing live band then. So it would be that. I think Sandra's having a row with Alexa outside.
I can hear some pinging going on.
From the other room, when I said that, I heard, I'm not deaf.
Your honourable mentions.
Yeah. But yeah, this is the one you want. So the song To Woo Somebody. Years and years ago, I used to take the piss out of modern music and the way music was going, and there weren't any real good love songs and all of that. And I always said to you, if I ever had to go out again, this would be the song that I would play to somebody to show them how I felt. And it's a song by Wayne County and the Electric Chairs, and it's called Fuck Off. And you know the lyric. But yeah, it's if you don't want to fuck me, baby, fuck off. But it's a really nice 12 bar and I love it.
My first memories of this song were of you singing it in the workshop and then me laughing. Some shit you've made up. And then you told me it was a real song and I was like, nah, mate. Nah. And you were like, no. And then I think you brought it in on a tape and I was like, no way, is that a song? Amazing. And like I say, I knew with 1000% certainty that was going to be your track 5 when I sent you the tracks. Yeah, interestingly, it's Wayne County on Spotify as well. So it for a while it was Jane County. I think there was a transition, and then I don't know if maybe there was a transition back or what's happened there, but on Spotify it still says Wayne County. Yeah. So I'll go with that. Yeah, go with that. But yeah, you can't argue with a lyric like, if you don't want to fuck me, baby, fuck off. No. It's all out there, mate. It's efficient. Do you know what I mean? Let's not waste our time. Do you know what I mean? We both know what we're here for. If we're not up for it, let's not fucking bother. That
does what it's in. Oh, man.
Did they have any other, like, significant hits? Or I'm not even saying that was a hit, because no way that was in the top 40.
No, not really. They were pretty shit.
So were they like it's blues? Obviously, that's 12 bar blues, like that track. It's a bluesy track. But all the rest of the stuff like that, or was it more punky or new wavy?
More an American version of punk.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned him the other day. Vic Burnett used to like Wayne County. Is Vic there?
You can see I'm modelling myself on Vic. Yeah. You know what I mean? You see the influence he had on me.
You need the British accent as well now, though.
Yeah, Vic. But there's another in joke for people who were not working in the Cargill's workshop in the late 1980s, early 90s. Vic was a welder, and I was lucky/unlucky enough to be seconded to him for 6 months, and I would regularly sing the song by Department S. He's Vic there to him or around him, and every time he would give me a fairly firm hit round the ear roll for doing it. You never get away with that now. I was talking to someone at work the other day about that, like, about being an apprentice and what it was like in the 80s and 90s. Like, you can't even look at an apprentice wrong these days. Never mind flipping around the ear.
I won't tell you what got done to me in the 70s.
Oh no, yeah, it would have been worse. It would have been worse, mate. Yeah,
Swore finger in places you didn't know you had places.
It's exfoliating, so it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
On a side note, Tommy, Cara, and I'll probably cut this out, right? Cara looks at my hands, right? And she says to me, there's no way you were on the tools for 30 odd years. Just not in a million years. And I said, you can thank Tommy for that and his barrier cream routine, right? Because he was so staunch with his every morning, after tea, after lunch, he'd get the barrier cream out. And I said, and that's a habit that I carried on for the next 30 years after I stopped working for him. That's why I was on the tools for 30 odd years and my hands are still baby soft skin. She wouldn't have it. She was like, you for real? Like, you on the tools? I was like, yeah. So look at your hands though. They're like so baby soft. I said, you thank Tommy for that. All right. Done your honourable mentions, didn't we, for track 5? Track 6, Tommy. Tell us about your track 6. Song that doesn't get the appreciation and recognition you think it deserves.
Okay, this one, I was in a band called Nightcrawler years and years ago.
Yep.
Nightcrawler are no more. Billow, our singer, sadly passed away earlier this year. So the big reunion tour is never going to happen. Steve was the main creative person in the band. And we all like to think we all wrote it, but let's face it, Steve was the writer in the band. And he came up with a song called Weak at the Knees. It was only when my kids were a little bit older and they realised what it was about, but they started getting at me for it. But they even still tell the story. He's got a song called Weak at the Knees that he used to play to us and get us singing it, and it's about what it's about. So Steve's in a band called Havoc 51. They're out and about on Spotify. This is going to sound like I'm bringing him down, and I'm not. He's got a couple of versions of it, or I've got a couple of versions that he's recorded. The one that's out on Spotify, it's great, and it shows Steve guitar skills off. It's really good. But with the biggest respect going, it's too nice. And so I've been working on it with one of the lads at work, and I've still not got round. Every time I do the vocal, I got knife shit. I can't, no, it's not right. The rough backing track for it now is bang on. I'm really pleased with it. I've just got to finish the vocal. I was hoping, Steve knows I'm doing it. I was hoping to be able to get it finished and say to you, I've had a word with Steve and it's on Spotify. You can use that one.
Yeah.
Lazy gid, I've not done it. So Havoc 51, Weak at the Knees.
Yep.
And Havoc 51 deserve a listen. They're not, I'll say it like it is, not everything they do is brilliant, but then if the only band that ever were like that for me was Jeff Healey Band. For years, every album, every track was bang on. But they do some good stuff, and they tour everywhere, I think, in the UK, but they do a lot around the Northwest. So probably a bit out of your range, but unless you're back over one time.
I get the Spotify, what do they call it, analytics, and country-wise, the podcast reaches, I think it's 40-something% Australia, and then the rest is split between the UK and US. So there's heaps of listeners out there. I've got to be honest, most of the UK listeners are people that I know. I look at my Spotify, my geographical graph, and it's like, I know people in all of that.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I'm going to, when you drop this, I'm going to send the link to Mickey Juck, because I'll probably just put it on the Mickey Juck Facebook page, because that way all the Juppy fans will get to hear somebody talking about him. I love to get word about Mickey out.
If he wants to come on, if you're watching this or listening, Mickey, jump on to the mixtapepodcast.com and there's my email and phone number. Love to have you on the show, mate. Figuring that would be cool. It'd be so cool.
So, honourable mention, if it's all right, I've picked 2.
Yeah, go on, mate. Yeah, it's your mixtape, mate. And the Mixtape podcast only exists because of you, Tommy. So if you want to pick an extra honourable mention, mate, you go for it, buddy.
Okay. Another one, it's the Learning to Swim one earlier on. This is a song, Chase the Feeling by The Devil Makes 3. And I don't know if you've heard it, but it's the other way around. Rather than like how you're feeling when you're down, it's watching somebody when they're down and what they're putting the body through. But again, it pulls me in. It's just, it's a, there but for the grace of God, maybe. I don't know. But it's one of them. But they're really worth a listen. They're not full electric. They're the cracking musicians. But yeah, it's a bit of a moving song, but it's for me anyway.
Yeah. I don't know them. I wasn't familiar with them. I was about to give it a full listen when you messaged me and said, I'm ready to start recording. And I went, oh shit, it's 4 o'clock, not 5 o'clock. And I'm just looking at the clock, 25 past 6. We've been going 2 hours. We're nearly there, mate. We're nearly there. All right. And what's your final honourable mention, mate?
I look after a site in Cork as well, in Ireland.
Yep.
And there's TV program, and they made a film as well called The Young Offenders. And it's basically about two knobheads that have grown up on a council estate, bad start in life, shit gets thrown at them, they nick bikes and sell them, and everything goes wrong for them. But we got into it because it is funny. It's a nice dark humour program, but it's all, you get to see all places around County Cork as well. So it's like we're watching it. It's like I've been there. Oh, look at it. Yeah. So that we got into it for that. But on there's a song that it pops up every now and then on it. Either there'll be somebody playing in a pub playing it, and it usually is the band, the Frank and Walters. I think it's them that are doing it. Or there's one episode where there's a bad lad in it called Billy, and you get his backstory, which is touching, but he kidnaps a bus, and they're all driving around County Cork on this bus, and somebody says, let's have a sing-song then, and he sings this song on it as well, which is, weird. But it's called After All by the Frank and Walters. It tickles me. It's nice. It's a love song at the end of the day, but it's a feel-good song as well. And I'm pretty sure none of your listeners will have heard of Frank and Walters.
Thank you so much for listening
unlikely.
to the
Cara
Mixtape
probably
podcast. All the links that you will need are in the description below.
I'm sure
Link to my Patreon, my guest website and social media, my social media, and the link to the Mixtape tracks playlist as chosen
out there,
by
obscure
today's
stuff
guest.
to people.
Thanks so much for listening.
Heard it before.
Until next time.
When I spoke earlier about the Spotify playlist, the track 1 playlist, the track 2 playlist, the track 3 playlist, the track 6 playlist is way and above my favourite one to listen to, because it is just out there stuff that people don't know and underappreciated and fantastic music. So that's always like my go-to when I'm flicking through them playlists. That's always the one. It's the mixtapepodcast.com. If you want to check out any of the Spotify playlists, there's a link at the top that just says Spotify playlist. Click there and you'll be seeing every guest has got their individual mixtape playlist, and then there's those 6 as well. Tommy, what can I say, mate? It has been an absolute pleasure chatting to you for episode 100. Thanks so much, mate. I really appreciate your time. It's been amazing. Cheers, mate. Thanks so much.
It's been brilliant, Matt. And like you say, 2 hours, that's a small dog, isn't it?
It went by that. Went by like that.
Yeah, banging.
Oh, mate, it was my pleasure. There's no friends like old friends.